Alright, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening to each one of you. Today we will be discussing the experiment 13 procedure, okay, which entitled glass fragments and fracture. Alright, so here's a overview of our lesson. Of course, let's start with a glass, okay? As I have mentioned a while ago during our lecture that this is one of the specimen or evidence used in crime scene, specifically if there are vehicular accident, okay, o kaya naman may mga carnapping na nangyari, okay? So glass can be used as evidence. Now, it states here that glass is such a common material that shows up on the soles and clothing for almost anyone with so much glass picked up from casual contact. Okay? And then the courts and investigators need some way to determine which fragments actually have relevance in cases. So this makes the forensic glass analysis essential to the criminal justice. Okay, so our objective for today is that we are expected, or you as a student are expected to be appreciative of how to determine and identify the direction and the means of a glass pane if it was or broken. Okay, so here are the materials used. Okay, so we have the window glass, which will be hammered during the procedure. And then second, we have the illustration board where we're going to paste the shattered pieces of glass. And also we have the hand lens that is used to identify the fracture types. We have also the scotch tape used to hold the pieces of glass together, and a hammer used tool for the point of impact. So sabi ko nga during our lecture that when there is a force, there will be a point of impact. Okay? Either it is a hammer or a bullet or a knife or a fist. Okay? As long as there is a point of impact, there will be or it will cause, or the presence of point of impact, okay, would lead to the formation of fractures. Okay? And during our discussion, it states there that in a glass, okay, there are two types of fracture to be formed. That is the row key. What is the row key? Radial, outward, okay, concentric, inside or inward. Okay? When there is a point of impact, so the first or the primary fracture that is going to be formed is the radial fracture. Nakuha? And the radial fracture, okay, according to Matvejev principle, it forms a right angle at the reverse side of the glass. This is what we call the 3R rule according to Matvejev principle. And the concentric, okay, is the second or secondary fracture formed after radial fracture formation, right? So what we're going to do on the next experiment face to face is that we're going to place the square glass on the table, and then I want you to create point of impact that would depend on you students kung saan nyo gustong tirahin at kung saan nyo gustong basagin. Tapos i-determine natin doon sa point of impact na ginawa ninyo kung nasaan doon yung radial fracture at concentric fracture. Bibilangin lang po natin siya. Okay? So bring your PPEs, and as much as possible bring also your goggles. Nakuha? Yan. Next, okay, so we are detecting here the direction of force. Okay, and the first one, direction of force can be determined using or through a breakage. No, when we break a piece of glass by means of hammer, we're going to collect and reconstruct the broken pieces, and afterwards we're going to examine the cross section and striation found on the edge of each. And then the fourth one, we're going to determine the first and radial cracks. And then the fifth, determine the stress lines. So when we talk about the stress lines, these are the caused by concentric fracture. Determine also the direction of where force was applied from the result of your examination. And then the part 2 of the procedure, we're going to reconstruct the broken glass. So parang gagawin nyo lang, babasagin nyo muna, pagkatapos ipapuzzle ninyo, and then ililabel na ninyo yung mga point of impact. So these are the procedural steps of our experiment next meeting. Basagin mo, pagkatapos hanapin mo ang mga radial at concentric fracture, pagkatapos buuin mo ulit yung binasag mo, pero may label na dapat sila. Okay, kindly read again the steps of performing glass fracture. Okay, I would like also to share the different methods in the glass analysis, because these methods are essential, to determine the presence or absence of a glass, specifically the characteristics of a glass. So let's start with the flotation method. So when we say flotation, what comes to our mind? The root word of flotation is float, right? So it states here that the glass fragments are placed in a liquid with adjustable density. Okay, I'll repeat. The fragments, pira-piraso, are placed in a liquid with adjustable density. That is to allow the fragments float. Okay? What else? Sink or suspend. So, nasa liquid sila. So, kumbaga, isasawsaw mo lang yung salamin o yung glass fragments, tapos titignan mo kung siya ba ay lulutang, siya ba ay lulupog, o pupunta doon sa ilalim. And it is usually involved in a container with a liquid known as a bromobenzene mixture. Please be familiar with this reagent, the bromobenzene mixture, added liquid, in the flotation method. So the primary goal of flotation method is to identify the density of the glass. And flotation focuses on the glass density. Yan. Ito po yung picture. So, na-imagine ninyo, meron po dyan yung square glass inilagay nila. Tapos, andyan yung interior pane, yung exterior pane. Tapos, nasa aluminum spacer. Meron din silang desiccant, meron din silang sealant. So, actually, ang nakuha kong image ay buo. But actually, supposed to be fragments. Na parang yung fragments, nilagay mo siya doon sa liquid, nang nabanggit na reagent kanina, yung bromobenzene mixture. Tapos yung mga glass fragments, ilalagay mo dito. Kaya nga siya liquid, kasi hahanapin mo or aalamin mo yung density ng glass. However, itong nasa picture natin ngayon, kung titignan ninyo, tinitignan lang naman dyan yung capacity ng glass if it can withstand a heat or cold temperature. Because that is also one of the characteristics in determining the glass evidence, so that we are able to know also the type of glass that was being broken or damaged. Halimbawa, ito ba ay fiberglass, ito ba ay tempered glass, ito ba ay soda lime, 'di ba? So ganun po yung purpose ng ginagawa po natin. Okay, next, immersion. So pag sinabi nating immersion, okay, from the root word immerse, palulubugin. Okay? Palubugin mo, ilubog mo, ano pa ba? Okay, isawsaw mo. Yan. So the glass is placed in a liquid known refractive index. So pag sinabi po nating refractive index, ito po yung kalinawan, kalabuan ng isang salamin. Tama? That's why it is involved with a microscope. Now, there are two interpretations here. Dalawa lang naman. Meron tayong low relief or high relief. In the immersion method of glass, there are two types of interpretations. The first one is the low relief and the second is the high relief. So what does it mean by low relief? When the glass was immersed and you are, or if you don't see a refractive index outside the line, that is low relief. Okay? No outside line refractive index of glass. And also, the characteristics of oil and glass are similar. Ang palatandaan mo dyan, kung nakakita na kayo ng baby oil, okay, kung nakakita na kayo ng oil, okay, 'di ba meron siyang texture? Yung oil itapat mo sa ilaw. Okay. 'Di ba medyo malabo siya, na malapot? Kapag kaganon yung appearance ng glass, ang tawag diyan ay low relief. Pero kung magkaiba ang refractive index ng oil at glass, ang tawag diyan ay high relief. Nakuha? Because high relief, the main idea in high relief is that there should be a formation of back line. Nakuha? What is the back line? Yang back line na yan, that's why immersion method, okay, under it, we perform also the backline method. So ito, napapansin nyo sa picture, merong arrow, yung parang whitish appearance doon sa surroundings ng glass. Yan po yung backline kung tawagin. 'Di ba usually yung mga ibang mga lumang glass, meron na siyang ganyan, yung malabo na maalikabok na parang texture ng lana. Okay? Ganyan po yung backline. And in line with that, of course, we have the backline method. And the backline method is a specific technique under the immersion method. So magkasama yan. Pagka gumawa ka ng immersion, kasama na dito yung backline method. It requires microscope as well. Okay? This should form a bright halo, okay, that appears at the edge of the glass. Yung sinasabi ko kanina. So, pwede kayong maghanap ng mga lumang glass and then you look at the edge of it. Kung merong malabo, that is the backline. Okay? So, that would be your task for today. Okay? Find time to look for a glass and then you should document it and send it individually na lang. Okay? Ayan. Tapos, isubmit ninyo sa Monday for BCF, and then to my schedule of TTH, isubmit nyo sa akin ng Tuesday. Nakuha po? Ayan. So, when we focus, okay, the backline, the line moves into the material with higher refractive index. Ibig sabihin, mataas. Okay? Malabo talaga siya pag ganun. So, it requires a microscope and immersion oil. Usually, ang purpose talaga ng immersion oil ay para mas maging malinaw ang malabo. Ganun po yun. It is also a specific technique, okay, under immersion method to cause or produce a backline. Yan po siya. Okay? So, this is how it works. Paano po ba kasi na-form yung backline na yan? So, eto lang, papasimplihin na natin, no? Meron tayo dito yung tinatawag na two opposite angles of light rays. Nakuha? So, look at the pictures. We have the picture A and then the picture B. It looks like a crystal, right? So, for the picture A, okay, so if the specimen located at the center, okay, natamaan yan ng light ray, tapos nagkaroon ng, nag-bounce yung ilaw. Okay? So, ito yung diba, specimen. Pagkatapos, bakit ganyan yung appearance niya? Kasi nga, nagkakaroon ng opposite direction yung focus mo above and focus mo below. As you can see, if you focus it above, yung backline, okay, nasa loob. Pero kapag ang focus mo ay nasa baba, yung backline nasa labas. So, think of it na lang an opposite relationship or indirect relationship between the two light rays. Now, for the second picture, the picture B, kaya ganun yung appearance niya sa picture B kasi yung light pass through. Nakuha? So, sa picture A, malabo siya kasi there is an opposite, or kung mapapansin niyo yung light rays, 'di ba? Pa-X siya, tapos parang nag-unite sila at the terminal end. Nag-unite ng terminal end yung mga arrows diyan, kaya naging ganyan po yung view natin, yung POV natin doon mismo sa picture A. And while for the second picture, siya, nag-scatter siya. Okay, that's why it looks like a crystal. So, those are the formation of backline. That's why, yung backline dito sa first picture nasa loob. 'Di ba parang agsilsilang? Okay? Nag-unite yung arrow sa terminal. Pero bakit parang nasa labas dito sa second picture? Kasi nga, nag-scatter ang light. Ganun lang. Pag nag-scatter ang light, dapat yung kanyang kinang sa labas. Pero kapag yung light rays, okay, nagsama, nag-unite, nandun siya sa loob. Okay, so I hope you are with me and you're getting the point.